So you got yourself a new set of wheels. You're all ready to bolt them on. The question is, have you got the right fasteners? That's a really important thing to check because ultimately that's the only thing that's holding your wheel onto your car and you want to keep them there. So the first thing you need to know is what type of fastener does your car need? If you've got an American or Japanese car, chances are you've got a system something like this. The stud, which is located on the hub of the vehicle, and you've got a nut which goes on and screws on like so, and you torque down. In this particular case, the nut we're looking at is a conventional acorn nut with a 60-degree bulge seat, pretty much standard equipment on most cars. However, if you've got a European vehicle, you might have something like this, and that is a bolt. And in this case, you've got a threaded hole in the hub, and the bolt comes along, goes through the wheel, and screws directly into the hub. So here, you've got to make sure that you've got the right seat configuration. We'll look at that in a second. And you've got to make sure that this thread is correct and it's the right length, that it doesn't go too far or too short, because otherwise you're not going to have the correct torque, or you might have an interference problem on the hub side. Now, I was talking about seats. What are we talking about there? Well, seat, you can have two different types on the bolts, and even on the nuts. You can have the 60-degree taper I referred to earlier, or you can have the radius seat, which is this round shape to it. It's really important that you get the right one for the wheel, because if these seats don't match, these bolts are not going to stay tight for long. So make sure you've got the correct seat. Now, in the event that you've got a tuning wheel, you might actually need a special type of nut or bolt, and that's called a tuning nut or bolt. And as you can see, they're actually quite small in size. They're designed to go into the smaller hole of that type of wheel, and they're going to require a special adapter key to work with them. In this case, the conventional tuner uses what looks like an Allen key, goes straight in like so. Or the better system that's come out since is what's called a spline type nut. And this is just as small, but it uses exterior splines, which can hold a lot more torque, and the type of key that goes onto them has a lot more surface area. So it's a much more reliable system. The other thing too is it's like a closed end on it, so you don't get corrosion or bleed through from the studs. No matter what, make sure you've got the right stuff for the job.